Elvis Presley's trademark look was inspired by comic. Elvis Presley's secret roots as one of the most fashionable stars of his age may be found in comics. Filmmaker Baz Luhrmann is known for his music-driven films based on anything from Romeo and Juliet to The Great Gatsby, opens in new tab. However, the trailer for his most recent film, a highly stylized biopic about Elvis Presley's life, veers into a different pop culture phenomenon with a scene highlighting the surprising connections between Elvis' iconic style and one of the most popular superheroes of his childhood in the 1940s and 1950s, Captain Marvel Jr. The problem is the following screenshot, taken from the thriller Elvis. Is it true that the King's style was inspired by Captain Marvel Jr.? During his meteoric climb to stardom, Elvis was recognized not just for his soulful rock and roll crooning, but also for his special clothes and coiffed rockabilly hairdo, which he admittedly patterned after his favorite superhero, Captain Marvel Jr. Captain Marvel Jr. is the original superhero alter ego of Freddie Freeman, Billy Batson, Shazam! Boyhood's buddy, whose original superhero moniker was Captain Marvel, who shares a fraction of Billy's talents, as seen in the latest Shazam! Film. Captain Marvel Jr., like many current franchises, has his own spin-off title from his mentor's main series. Elvis modeled his instantly recognizable pompadour after Captain Marvel Jr.'s style from his original Golden Age days, while also incorporating elements of Captain Marvel Jr.'s costume, such as his fringed half-cape, into his own stage outfits, particularly an iconic outfit he wore in the late 70s known as the Blue Owl. A white variant, as featured on the 1972 live album cover as performed at Madison Square Garden, is seen below. Meanwhile, anyone knowledgeable with Elvis trivia would likely recognize his taking care of business, TCB lightning bolt emblem, which was inspired by Captain Marvel Jr.'s own Shazam! Lightning bolt insignia. The influence of the King on Captain Marvel Jr. also flowed back into comic books in later decades, with modern stories referring to Captain Marvel Jr. as a dedicated Elvis fan who has modeled some of his own personal style after Elvis, a textbook example of life imitating art imitating life, forming the basis of some of the most enduring elements of music and fiction as a result of Elvis' wider legacy. Elvis' love for Captain Marvel Jr. is so important to his stage presence and style that his own childhood collection of Captain Marvel Jr. comics, lovingly preserved into adulthood, has been on display in his Memphis, Tennessee estate Graceland, now a museum of his life and career, since his death in 1977. Captain Marvel Jr. No. 51, in particular, is prominently placed on Elvis' boyhood desk as a sign of the character's formative effect on Presley's life and style. Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, starring Austin Butler as Elvis Presley, has been released. In addition, DC parent company Warner Bros. Has a Shazam! Sequel titled Fury of the Gods in the works for a 2023 release. Freddie Freeman is in it as well.